I tell you what, my husband is so compassionate. And especially when he believes in something, he can pursue it and do it passionately.
On May 20th, 2013, Tony Ogunda was traveling in a matatu from Nakuru to Nairobi when he received a call from the minister's wife. She asked him to come over, and although he hesitated, he agreed because they had been involved in a secret romantic relationship. Despite the risks, the excitement of their forbidden affair made him to rush to her home. However, once Tony arrived and settled into the minister's luxurious house, he was ambushed by men who only spoke one language: kicks and blows. This was a language he learned quickly before they handed him over to the police, warning him that another man's wife is a no-go zone. Unfortunately, Tony didn't listen to the warning, and just 2 months later, he was found dead under mysterious circumstances.
So the pieces to the puzzle surrounding the death of Tony Ogunda continue to fall in place.
Former
Today,
GSU
all
officer
action was
involved in a love triangle with former cabinet minister Raphael Tuju is dead. Tony Ogunda
the man
was
accused
found
of
dead.
having a love affair with former minister Tuju has been found dead in a house in Nairobi's Upper Hill area.
How did it come to this tragic end? Let's find out. So in 2008, Tony Ogunda first entered the lives of the Tuju family when he was assigned as a GSU officer to protect their home. This came after Tuju had been appointed as the special legal advisor to the then President Kibaki, handling issues related to ethnic relations and media. When Tony Ogunda was assigned VIP protection duties for the Tuju family in 2008, he found himself stationed at their gates. This brought him close to the Tuju family, which allowed him to meet Mrs. Ruth Tuju for the first time as his boss's wife. Initially, there was no immediate connection or spark between them. Tony was focused on his work, and at the time, he was happily married to Esther Okumu, his childhood friend whom they had a son together. On top of that, Tony was quite a bit younger than the Tuju couple, which made any romantic interest between him and Mrs. Ruth Tuju seem unlikely. Over the years, the Tujus appeared to have the perfect marriage. They were often featured in popular lifestyle magazines because they seemed as the ideal couple, one that had successfully overcome the trials and tribulations of marriage since they officiated their romantic relationship in a 1986 church wedding. Up until now, the Tujus were living in a luxurious home in Karen, enjoying the fruits of their love and loyalty. With their 3 beautiful children, they could celebrate life with vacations to some of their favorite places, including Diani. In a 2011 interview with Drum magazine, they spoke fondly of these special moments, showcasing the life they had built together over the years. However, despite overcoming many challenges in their marriage, there was one issue that never seemed to leave their household, and that is loneliness. This was a result of Tuju's political career. As the special advisor and envoy to President Kibaki, Tuju often had to leave their current home for various assignments. This frequent absence started to take a toll on his wife, especially when he announced his bid for the presidency in 2011.
I want to be Kenya's next president.
Hi, I'm Raphael Tuju. I'm running for the office of the President of the Republic of Kenya.
The weight of his political ambitions began to strain the bond they had worked so hard to maintain. This meant that Tuju was away from home for even longer periods, deeply focused in his campaign trail. When she needed a shoulder to cry on or a chest to lean on, he wasn't there. He was busy chasing votes. So as Tuju traveled across the country, his wife found her own way to cope. She kept herself busy looking for a replacement, someone who could fill the void Tuju's absence left behind. That's when Anthony Ogunda came into the picture. When approached, he understood exactly what was needed. His job was simple: to make her happy and keep it all a secret. Anthony Ogunda played his role so well that Ruth became his sugar mommy. Whatever he wanted, she made sure he got it. From cash to expensive outings, Ruth spared no expense in taking care of him. She even went as far as securing him an expensive apartment along Gong Road. But this decision turned out to be their greatest undoing. The lavish lifestyle Ruth provided led Tony to leave his wife Esther, who lived in their home in Eastlands. When Esther started investigating why he suddenly left, she discovered the truth that Tony had moved in with Ruth, his boss's wife. The betrayal was so painful that Esther decided to expose it all, sending a text message directly to Tuju himself. When Tuju found out about the affair of his wife and Tony, he was furious as any man would be. However, being the gentleman that he is, he chose to handle the situation calmly. He called both Ruth and Tony to his current home for a meeting. During this meeting, they both promised to end the illicit affair. But that promise turned out to be a lie. They continued seeing each other and even became more open about their relationship, to an extent that there were times he would text Tuju's children asking about their mom's whereabouts, making the situation even worse. Tony and Ruth's shameless behavior only escalated after he became entirely dependent on Ruth. Having lost his job due to his involvement in an extortion scam, with nowhere else to turn to, he began visiting Tuju's home at ungodly hours at night, showing a complete disregard for boundaries. This made Tuju even more angry. In response, Tuju quickly got a restraining order against Tony and filed for divorce from his then-wife, Ruth. The restraining order banned Tony from getting anywhere near Tuju's family or property, putting a clear end to his presence in their lives. Despite the restraining order, Tony couldn't stay away. In May 2013, he went to Ruth's home in Karen after she invited him. This led to his arrest for trespassing.
Last night we got a complaint from Mheshimiwa Rafael Tuju that there was somebody who had trespassed into his home. And we sent our officers to the home and they managed to arrest one person who could not explain himself as to why he had gone to that home. He was arrested and placed in the cells and we are investigating the matter. Soon he will appear in court for trespass or any other offense that may be disclosed. The complaint was made by Rafael Tuju himself.
What time was that?
That was last night.
What time did the trespass occur?
We are talking of past 9. Yeah.
Even after he was arrested, their relationship didn't end. And suddenly fate dawned as 2 months later, in July 2013, Tony was found dead in an apartment owned by Tuju, who was out of the country at that time. And 3 months later, in October 2013, Ruth was already divorced and was seen selling local food at a small hotel she had opened. She went from being a millionaire's wife to hustling just to make ends meet. Thanks for watching and please make sure to like, comment and subscribe and see you in my next video. Bye.